So things are a little bit different right now, but go back to pre-COVID and what will be post-COVID. Their entire workday could be filled with checking people in, checking them out, and answering the phone. What progress will have been made by my hygiene scheduling coordinator if 100% of her day is spent checking people in, checking them out, and answering the phone? What progress will she have made on keeping hygiene filled?
Nothing. Very little progress, exactly.
Little. Yeah. So I've given my team members permission to leave their station. We have a back front office workstations where they can work away from the hubbub of the front desk. Now, the guidelines are they are to check in with their team members because I don't want to leave them stranded. You know, right. Check in with your coworkers. Hey guys, next week is looking really challenging in hygiene. I need to go work on the hygiene schedule. Are you guys okay here? If I have an hour or so, are you guys okay with that? Right. And then they're all good about it because they're going to need that favor in return.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then they put their head down and work on it. Level 5 leaders look out the window to apportion credit to factors outside of themselves when things go well. Think about that for a minute. What do? They give credit to others.
Right.
So level 5 leaders look out the window to apportion credit to factors outside themselves when things go well, to others. And they use the mirror at the same time. They look in the mirror to apportion responsibility when things don't go as planned. So they give credit when things go well, and they take the blame themselves when things go poorly. And so that's something we can practice. Answer the question, you know, can you learn to be a level 5 leader? And Jim said that for many people, level 5 leadership can be developed. I said to my client, I said, well, clearly there's a problem here. And the problem is you. He said, what do you mean? This is not only a client, but a friend. I said, the problem is you, because you're delivering mixed messages to your patients. You're telling them it's important. And then when they don't do it, you're just sweeping it under the rug. He said, well, that wasn't the answer I was expecting from you. I said, well, but he said, it's true. They want to do the right thing. These are great hygienists in this practice. They want to do the right thing. But when you're inconsistent, imagine if we had, now my grandchild, I have grandchildren now. Imagine I tell my 7-year-old grandson that, Anthony, you've got to eat your vegetables if you want to get dessert. I've got to be consistent with that message, don't I? Let them know that what your expectations are. Let them know. But I think it's a lot about expectations, letting them know the consequences.
Right.
And then simply letting them know you're serious about this. And not just sweeping it under the rug, not pretending it's going to go away on its own. You address it head on. And I hope you have the same outcome. I hope our listener has the same outcome that we do by declaring your practice a drama-free zone, because truly, dentistry, your office needs to be a drama-free zone. Anything less than that, we're not living up to our promise to our patients. We think that we can communicate with any patient once a month until they either make an appointment or they say, quit pestering me. And in all the time we've done this, we've never heard the patient say, quit pestering me. So what's the answer? Contact them every month. And then the question becomes, how far back do you go? How far back do you go? Think about it, Naren. If someone has to make phone calls, and this takes a tremendous amount of time, we might want to have a limit to how far back they go, because it might not be the best return on that time. The 3-day work week. You know that Paul and Tim each work 3 days by choice. Paul works Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tim works Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's by choice, and that's really for 2 reasons. One, so they can have more family time. And number two, both have 4 kids, and I wanted them to have more family time. I have 4 kids as well. Now mine are adults, theirs are younger. And the second reason is so they can take a massive amount of continuing education on the order of 250 hours a year and not take CE at the expense of their family. Hey, Naren, if a dentist works 4 days a week clinically and then spends a fifth day working on the admin of their practice, and then they go take a CE course on the weekend, isn't it fair to say they took a CE course at the expense of their family time?
Absolutely. That is correct.
And, now Paul and Tim are able to have both, have a quality family time and still take a massive amount of CE. So my first tip would be, and this isn't an overnight kind of thing. It has to be strategically planned, and there's a lot of pieces have to be put in place, but work toward that 3-day week. I will simply report what Jim Collins said. And what he said in the book is that level 5 leadership can absolutely be developed. So the short answer to that question is yes, it can be developed. And I think that's encouraging. Isn't it, Naren, when you think about it?
Absolutely, Gary. Yes.
And so one of the ways that can be developed is in the book, Jim mentioned that level 5 leaders tend to follow what he called the window and mirror concept. The window and mirror concept. Let me explain what that means. And he said level 5 leaders look out the window to apportion credit to factors outside of themselves when things go well. Think about that for a minute. What do? They give credit to others.
Right.
So level 5 leaders look out the window to apportion credit to factors outside themselves when things go well, to others. And they use the mirror at the same time. They look in the mirror to apportion responsibility when things don't go as planned. Imagine 3 circles where 3 circles intersect. It's the intersection of 3 circles where you want to spend your time and energy. The intersection of 3 circles. One circle is things that you're passionate about, something that you're passionate about. That's one circle. Another circle is something you can do really well, really well. And then the third circle is that which drives your economic engine. And that's the language that Jim Collins used, but I'm going to use a different language on that. Something you can make a profit at. Let's apply it back to the den. So imagine the intersection of these 3 circles. And the intersection would be something you're passionate about, something you can do really well, and something that you can make a profit doing. Management is really about managing tasks. It's about providing direction related to task. Leadership is about guiding your team members to want to do the things that you need to have them do in your practice. As you said, it's about providing, the motivation, the inspiration, the direction, that they need. I like to think, definition of leadership is when the doctor and team are all in the same boat, rowing in the same direction towards commonly defined goals and objectives. That's what leadership does. It's when doctor and the team are all in the same boat, so we don't have some over here swimming alongside and some on the beach, and some not even showing up. They're all in the boat. But once you're in the boat, we're only starting. We now got to row in the same direction. And then we got to make sure we're rowing towards the goals and objectives that we've defined in the practice. But there's some data points that you need to know. One would be just how many calls am I getting? Potential new, not just calls, because calls, it could be an existing patient calling to change a hygiene appointment. I want to know how many potential new patient calls do you get? And then I want to know of those, what percent do we convert to an appointment? And I talk about conversion meaning a kept appointment. So right. if they make an appointment but don't show up, that doesn't count. It's got to be a kept appointment. I also might tell me what else we might like to know, Naren, because you provide it for us. I might want to know how long the phone call is.
Yes. Typically, if the phone call is less than a minute, nothing happened. So you don't even need to worry about those calls. So
Yeah.
typically a good call is, minute, 2 minutes minimum, ideally like 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's longer, and you'll get it when I go through these other tips. But you need to know some data. If you don't have the data, you don't drive your luxury car blindfolded. don't
Yeah.
do that. So call
And
tracking.
don't ask your receptionist, because that's anecdotal evidence. Whatever she feels like that day, you need hard data. You need every single phone call tracked and recorded, and you need numbers. This
No.
is not a place where anecdotal works. It totally doesn't work.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. The full podcast episode link is in the link below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like our content.